Hey everyone, it's Scrappy Cheeky Lauren and I'm up with some videos for December and January as a guest designer. So I hope you enjoy my projects and leave me some comments below for Steph and I and the other design team would be great. So I'm going to start off by making these traveller netbook inserts and showing you how I make it with my little simple process which I've learnt from watching other videos and researching and whatnot. So starting there with some A4 printed paper, just folding it straight in half, putting them all inside each other so they open and flip like a book, and putting some, sorry about the camera realigning, and putting some pattern paper over the top. As you've seen, I used my previous one here to measure the size, just roughly getting it right because it's just going to be the process, not about whether it measures to exactly the same as all the other ones. It is all based from the original measurements, which are 8.5 or 8.25 tall by 4 inches and by 4.25-ish wide, so that you get an idea of roughly of how big most travel notebook inserts are. So I'm just lining it up. I do need a new cutter, so it takes me a long time to cut it, unfortunately. But there's a few little tricks that I like to do. Cut it if I'm getting annoyed with it. And using the bulldog clips to hold all those pages together, because you want them to be stuck together in the whole process, so that they are aligned and you don't have to keep cutting. So here, just gently unfold it and bulldog them down the sides there so that you can do the stitching part. So getting my foam board out to poke with this pokey tool, and I do it about 1 inch apart. As you can see, I'm not really measuring again, but it's just going to be able to hold it together, and it's not going to be something you need to be precise. Don't go right to the ends because you don't want it to rip at the ends. Maybe leave about 1/2 inch from those edges. So I go through the middle on the inside and I hold the embroidery thread and I go through every up and then down, not going over each other until you've finished one line. And then as you're going back up, you end up naturally, when you go through the next hole, going over your stitches so that it makes it sturdier. And then there's stitching between every hole. Oh, it's stuck on the bulldog clip. And that way it makes it much sturdier when you've got it all together. So the embroidery thread I'm just using is normal embroidery thread. Oh, it's gotten stuck on everything. Just normal embroidery thread. Used 3 strands of it. You know how, well, you might not know, but you can pull it apart. If not, I was going to use cotton and have 3 strands of that threaded together through the needle, and it pretty much something you feel is going to be strong enough. I've seen people use all types of twine and things like that, but this is nice and thin, doesn't bulk up too much, and it's quite strong anyway. So just triple knotting it there and cutting it close to the knot. And because I have cut it so close to the knot, I will use some of my wet glue, some Helmer's glue, to glue it down. So I'm using the December documented kit here to make these 2 traveller notebook inserts and also to decorate them. Oh, so here, as you can see when I fold it, that my paper is growing in the middle. And that's because even though I cut it at the beginning, when I went to bulldog clip it before I did the holes, I got it all out of a line and had to do the paper part again because all my holes were out of order and I couldn't get my needle through. So as you can see, I have to do the cutting part again, but that's okay. Cut it out for you, you didn't have to endure it. So I've got my traveller's notebook there to the left, which is mine, and this one I'm decorating is for my son. He's seen mine and wanted his own. So I'm getting out the kit. I brought the chipboard as extra and trying to work out what I would like to put on here. So these 2 pieces is what I thought might be a good starting point, and then I realised that this is like a tag, and I thought, I could layer some tags up. That could work. I knew there were some lovely tags in the ephemera, or I did try doilies. I knew there were some lovely tags in the ephemera, but also I remember seeing this beautiful one on a sticker. And I'm just holding that top up because I want to put a thread in it before I stick it down, because these stickers were really sticky. They're actually really good. And this is just some silver twine, and that's from, I I don't know, when you get some gift tags from the shop, you know, like just some cheap gift tags, they come with this little silvery metallic-y thread which, you know, pulls apart over time, but it does the job for here. And I've just found this one which was from some gift wrapping, I don't think last year, I think it might have even been the year before. Just using that to tie it onto there, some gold and some silver, and going to place that one down there. So to the right there is my lovely box of goodies from the December documented kit from Kitaholics, and there is some awesome ephemera. There's the ephemera from the My Mind's Eye collection, some Project Life cards from that collection, but also there's some sequins, as you can see, but there's also some exclusive ephemera, which is awesome. They've designed some really great stuff, cut it out for us, and it just goes perfectly together. Add some pops of colour and some lovely little bits and pieces like tags and labels and mistletoe and stars and those numbers and things like that. So just having a look through to find out what I would like to use, and I kept a little bit of this flipping through because you can see all the types of goodies that you can get in that exclusive ephemera. So there's some numbers, there's also some tiny word phrases, which are some awesome phrases on there indeed. So I pulled some things out and I'm going to start my layering. I found these 25, which are little chipboard pieces as well, and I thought they would go nicely, but they need something to sit on, otherwise they're just hovering in space and that just does not look cool on a page. So I'm using this title page, this front cover, like a scrapbooking embellishment cluster, and just layering things up, putting it all so that it cohesively goes together but also looks really nice and decorated and does the job. So 25, because the Christmas day is 25th, and I'm just going to see what else I'd like to add to it. So the idea about making these Traveller's Notebook inserts was that I wanted to document Christmas in a couple of ways. I've got an 8x8 mini album happening over on my channel, but I also have these Traveller's Notebook inserts. One I'm filling up with our Elf on the Shelf's antics, and this one, as you can see, I've just journaled on there that my son is going to document the cheeky elf and the naughty elf, his antics in his eyes and his journaling, how he'd like to decorate it. So as soon as he's seen that I'd made one Traveller's Notebook insert, he certainly asked for his, so that I had to get onto that straight away. So there's one of those tiny word phrases from the ephemera, and it goes so nicely on there. Oh, just fiddling with that little bit of, it's like tinsel, but also like twine. Oh, not twine, but it's like a string, I guess, like a, I don't know, like a tinsely ribbon. Let's just go with that. That sounds great. So adding some more layers and texture to it. I think I'm nearly finished, because how many more stars could we fit on there, Lauren? Well, there's another one and another one. I think I accepted the challenge. Hey, oh, there we go. So close up of all the lovely bling. So beautiful and gold and shiny. And that one's done. There is a close up at the end, so don't worry about that. I'm just trying to work out on this beautiful reindeers how I'd like to start. And I thought, oh, I've got to do these lovely red and green doilies, which that's the last green doily. I'll have to find some more. That one came from the reject shop here in Australia. And this sticker I thought might be lovely. Cut it in half so it fits as, you know, a whatnot. And I'm just trying to take the stickiness off it, because I'll have to glue it anyway on top, because it is on the cover and you don't want things to fall off. But I wasn't sure exactly where I was going with it so far, so I wanted to take the stickiness off it so that I can reposition it a couple of times before I settle on it. But then I found this beautiful chipboard word, because it's chipboard and it's scripty, and how could you say no? So that's going to start coming together now. Go and have that believe. Going to look through the ephemera box again. And what can I see? So I really need to use some of the, oh, look at that. That's not what I stay with, but isn't that funny how that looks so nice with that reindeer, even though you would think that it's got enough reindeers on there that you wouldn't need anymore. Looking at some of these ephemera pieces, some tiny words, and what actually sparked me going further was that I found some lovely Christmas tree, which I'm pulling out all bits and pieces, some Christmas trees and stuff, And I love that mistletoe cut apart, little ephemera piece. There's so many of them. They're so cute. Like, ooh, mistletoe just screams Christmas to me. Anyway, I found there was a tiny word phrase that says elf antics, which is perfect for the cover because that's exactly what I'm documenting in here. Perfecto. Well done, whoever designed the exclusive ephemera pieces in these kits. So, as you can see, there's lots of goodies, and I'm not even showing you all of them. There's some alphas there to the left. There's the chipboard is extra, but there's quite a lot of extra goodies and things that are in the kit, let alone the stuff you can pick up extra in the shop to go with it. So definitely check out the shop because you would like to get your hands on it, I bet. And if you're like me, it's not behind because I actually on purpose am documenting later my December documented kit or my December daily, whatever you want to call it. Because that way when I'm on holidays, which is now the last week of December and in January, I have time to focus on it rather than feeling rushed and doing it a daily where you feel like you have to do it in 20 minutes because you're exhausted after work. And we're all so stressful at this time of the year that we know that we like to create, but something as a big project might not be down everyone's alley. So I'm documenting later, so definitely stay tuned for those kind of goodies and videos, and definitely join along if you're feeling that you'd like to, oh, look at this. Join along if you'd like to document later so that you aren't feeling so pressured. Those doilies were stuck together. So lucky I discovered that before I started gluing everything down, because that would probably not have been great later down the track discovering that the whole thing came off. So using my wet glue because it's going to stick it down. That beautiful scripty writing. It's just lovely. So I'm just cutting off the edge. Do I cut the E? I don't think I cut the E. I cut the scripty part of the B because it's overhanging. Because when you open the book, it's not going to lay flat. Whereas the extended E, it's going to lay flat. It will not be a problem. So I'm going with these trees here. And that's what I decided on. I fiddled around a bit with what I was going to put on as the main cluster part. So I cut that out for you. And you just see me deciding on the trees and a bit of mistletoe down the bottom. So layering them up so that it looks like it's a forest of Christmas trees. Beautiful different designs. And what else am I going to add to it? Oh, that's right. I grabbed these little star stickers. Little puffy stickers from the dollar shop here in Canberra. And I stick them on. I do go back with my tweezers and pick them up and put some wet glue underneath them, figuring that they would probably just fall off if I left them without the glue. Ta-da! Oh, do I show you that? That's pretty boring footage, I would imagine. Golly gosh, you'd think I'd... No, I did leave it out. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, get out the tweezers, Lauren. Oh, yes, thank goodness. I was thinking for the first design team video for you that I'd left in some boring footage. How shameful of me. But lucky I did cut it out. So there's that little tiny word phrase that says elf antics. And here's a little trick that I've also learnt in my travels. So I want to write 2017 on it, because this is the year that I will obviously be using this method of documenting. And the good thing is if you use a piece of paper, even though I think I've grabbed a piece of double-sided, the backing of double-sided tape, which the stickers were not sticking to so well because, funnily enough, that's exactly what that's used for. So I grabbed a piece of printer paper that was cut off. I'm just going to put these stickers down. And this way, when you cut it out, it is one like a tiny word sticker, and you don't have to fiddle with the alphas or the numbers, getting them on the page, getting them straight, because cutting them out, you watch how easy it is for me to move it around the page a million times and settle on what I'd like it to be. So, going to commit to that one. And that was pretty cool because that adds in some of the darker green, just like the mistletoe. It's lovely to have a few tones of the same colour on your layout. Just trying to see if this beautiful 1-inch circle would go. And I don't think I added. Then I remembered I've seen these beautiful puffy little gold foiled stars and hearts and circles and chevrons, and and fiddle around with these ones. So I'm going to put in some of these arrows down the bottom just to tie it in the cluster down there. Unfortunately are off the screen a little bit, but you'll be able to see in the close-ups in a moment. And we are wrapping up this video, so stay tuned for mine and other people's video here on the channel about using these kits and the other kits that we get from the beautiful Kitaholic Kits. So check out the links below and stay tuned for lovely summer scrapping. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.